just looking at all these fine people in the chat. I think everybody here knows Nikki. I think everybody knows Nikki. If you don't know Nikki, Sasquatch Secrets, she doesn't hold any bars. She'll not call out, but she'll say, "Hey, this is a known hoaxer. This is a known video, known this." She'll just tell you the truth, and that's rare.
I'll tell you what I know. You know, it's a lot of stuff is opinion these days. You gotta tell everybody. I'm just letting people know about the red flags. They're all over the place.
When I show this chart here where they say technically the most sightings in the United States, it's all speculations because it's all speculated on how many people make a phone call in the first place to say they saw something, you know? I mean, I remember as a kid when we had our Bigfoot encounter, I was 11. There was 11 of us. Not one person reported a sighting. Nobody cared to report a sighting. So how many sightings don't get reported, and how many sightings that technically it's 90% not even Bigfoot, it's something else. All because you report
identification.
All because you report something doesn't mean it's real.
Right.
It could be a bear. Exactly. It could be something, but I'm looking, you know, like I said, some days I just look up a chart, not chart, but I'm looking on the internet, like for latest stories, which is always hard to. Bigfoot is the one. Usually UFOs, you type it in, you can find something that happened in a week. Bigfoot's hard to find any kind of like latest story of somebody sighting or something. It's you really got to do some work.
You do, or you have to put your stuff out there to let people know, hey, contact me if you hear of anything or you want to tell your story. Now, I'm not an encounter channel, you know, but there's plenty of them out there. Trust me.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of them. Now, the title of this article is "These states have more credible Bigfoot sightings than others, according to Bigfoot investigators." All right. Okay. You know.
Okay.
You know. And then you know, I was looking at this, right? I'm like, well, where is this stuff even reported? Because I'll be honest with you, Nikki, if I want to report. If I saw a Bigfoot, I don't even know the organization I'm supposed to report it to.
Right. Well, I think the number one standard that people go to is the BFRO, which is the Bigfoot research organization. You know, the one that Matt Moneymaker has to report
I was going to bring that up right here. The Bigfoot Field Researcher Organization, founded by Matt Moneymaker. And I'm sitting there, right? I'm like, Matty Moneymaker. Oh, he's the Discovery Animal Planet guy. But I'm like,
big.
Is that last name real?
Bigfoot.
Is that last name real? Did he make that up? I mean,
I think it's made up. I mean, it's made up. I don't know what his real name is, but I think it's made up. Anyway, he really has fallen off with a lot of researchers for his quick to call things Bigfoot type of research, you know, and his just been proven wrong many times. Many times he's called things Sasquatch and it's not, you know, or footprints. He loves to immediately say this is the best foot, you know, prints there is, and they're not. He did that recently with some moose tracks. So he's kind of fallen away a little bit, but people still love finding Bigfoot. You know, they love Bobo and Renee and Cliff. So you still watch it. You got to remember, it's all entertainment. You know, you have to remember it's entertainment.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't actually watch those, but I know they're there. But if that's what helps people to want to go out and investigate themselves, you know, more power to it.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
And you know, now the question is, with Matt Moneymaker is, like you're saying, the part of the problem is not being a fraud or falsifying. It's what I call another type of lying of exaggerating. Exaggerating a dent in the ground, saying it's a footprint. You know, seeing an animal, saying that's Bigfoot. You can't exaggerate. Now the question is, now when show gets more popular, the network themselves want more ratings. Is it them who are like, dude, we gotta exaggerate a little bit, or does he himself exaggerate because he wants to stay on TV. With the only way you stay on TV if you got those ratings.
Right.
Or is it
Probably a little bit of both. He's a special individual. I don't know what to say. Some people like his flamboyant way of talking and doing his show, but he's gotten far on it. They're not filming anymore, as far as I know, but
they'll
he's
just
gotten where
bounce
he's at.
to another show. I mean, they all just
Something
bounce
else.
around. I mean, I looked up his IMDb. I mean, he's of course he said Finding Bigfoot. He's also been on Expedition X. He's been on Mystery and Encounters,
Yeah.
JD versus Bigfoot, Azar. I mean, he Discovery doesn't just own Discovery. They own Discovery, Travel Channel. They own so many
Yeah.
that they'll just bounce here to here to here. So it's not like they go away.
Right.
Only thing is, sometimes I do want to go down to Discovery headquarters and slap them. Like, guys, I'm tired of those fucking brothers, those lookalike brothers on these keep on bouncing to different house TV shows. I cannot stand those brothers.
Oh.
I swear, dude. I swear, Nikki. I'm like, get those brothers off.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh my god, I get tired of them. But all they do is bounce around. But what the hell?
Gotcha.
This is just going to his chart. Okay, so according to him, with investigators and of course phone calls, they say they received nearly 75,000 reports of Bigfoot sightings over the years. They consider between 5,000, 6,000 of those to be credible. My opinion, I probably break it down to maybe in the hundreds that are credible. I say maybe 9 out of 10 times they're nothing. But thing is, doesn't matter, right? The 3-4% is what we're looking for anyway.
Right. Right.
It only takes
I
one.
think those numbers are a little bit high there, but who's to say? You weren't there. So it's all about, do you believe individuals coming forward or do you not? And it's already been proven, a lot of people are hoaxing, right? They're doing that thing where they just want to get a little notoriety or attention.
Sometimes they follow the popularity trend, like right now, since UFOs had all those conferences, it's popular, it's back in the, it's back in the limelight. Now you got so-called whistleblowers come out, and I'm sure Bigfoot's going to have that, everything rotates, but somehow Bigfoot's going to come back popular. I don't know if it's due to a movie, a show, or something. And then you're going to have all these other people coming out of, woodwork. Oh, I was inspired. I had this video from 5 years ago, but now I'm brave enough to show it.
Yeah.
It's that's the world we live in. Now, according to this chart, now, like guys said, this is just based on what they're saying. I always hate these goddamn advertisements on the bottom.
I know.
So if you look at the top 10, Washington's top, of course, that's the state I live in.
Right.
Now, and then you got California number 2, Florida 3, Ohio's number 4, Illinois is 5, Oregon is 6, 7 is Texas, Michigan is 225, Missouri 166, Georgia 139. Now, first of all, like for myself, I'm looking at this. Now, if somebody's really thinking these states have the most Bigfoot, you got to think again. For example, Oregon's number 6, Florida's number 3. Now, Florida's always going to have more sightings because the Florida state has 22.25 million people that lives in Florida.
Right.
Oregon, my neighbor state, only has 4.24 million people in the state of Oregon. So your percentages are going to be higher with Florida, but this is just a guess. But I have a feeling that I feel that Oregon would have more Bigfoot than Florida, because if anybody knows
according
California to Oregon to Washington to Canada, it's like one big forest.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the
so much room
Cascades
for
and
these things to run in. I mean,
yeah,
we
it's a
got,
lot more.
yeah. I mean, Washington, yeah, we got the regular mountains where we have our hunting mountains. We got the Olympic Forest mountains, and then we get near guys. I know everybody knows Forks and all that from the Twilight, but you got the raining, like the raining part where a lot of people don't go to. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
much area for the Bigfoot to run and stuff. You know,
Right.
now I am surprised that Washington topped California because California's population is like fourth the size of
Real.
Washington,
Yeah.
just on the size.
It's
But
going to be really hard to determine numbers like that. You really have to consider the population, like you said, because I'm sure there's a lot of sightings in Montana, but there's not a whole lot of people that live in Montana.
no,
So,
I was saying the same thing. Idaho
Mhm.
has so much mountains. Idaho's right next to
Right.
Washington down there.
Hmm.
Idaho, Montana has so much.
Right.
You're right on the money. That's my point. The population, and now and the people. We can't forget the
Hmm.
flavor of the people. Washington supports more. If you go to any Washington store, you're going to see a lot of Bigfoot stickers,
Memorabilia.
bumpers. Because Washington
Yeah.
supports a little bit more. We had a basketball team that the mascot was a Sasquatch. So you got to also remember the state that you live in. Like
Yeah.
New Mexico. I'm sure down in New Mexico, they're probably more UFOs versus Bigfoot. But now,
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of Bigfoot in Nevada, Arizona, just because the desert. They might have
Not a
some, but
desert. Yeah.
not like bigger population.
Right. Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
so when I look at these charts, I don't know what to think of. I mean, okay, the noticeable ones I know a lot of sightings: Washington, California, Florida, Ohio. The Ohio, Florida skunk ape, Ohio. What's the famous one they call it in Ohio?
Um,
God,
oh,
I
you're
have my
talking
brain freeze.
about the Bigfoot and the Grassman or the booger, the
Yeah,
Ohio grass.
every
It's
state.
usually the Ohio Grassman is what you
The
usually
Grassman,
hear over
okay,
there.
the
Yeah.
Grassman's one of them. The best person to ever have, if you ever need to know which each Bigfoot is called, you need Connor.
Oh my gosh. There's thousands and thousands of names, and just like there's thousands of tribes. So each one of them has their multiple names sometimes, and
There's
it can go
there's
on
no
and
room
on.
in the woods for Bigfoot in California. No more. The forests are full of homeless. Actually, Danny, I don't know if you've ever been to California. California is a big, long state, and there's a lot of mountains here. It's just all the population is in San Francisco.
Right.
It's in L.A., Sacramento. You got these pockets where you have all the
Mm.
population, but there's a lot of mountains. But it is pretty sad. When I went back to California, that's where I'm from. That's where I was born. Where we have our encounter, you go back to the same place now because of all the fires. I mean, things are different. And now I'm wondering,
Mm.
because of all the fires, you know, the big. If you believe in Bigfoot, which I do, because or with our encounter, they would have to move because of the fires.
Hmm.
They would have to repopulate in some areas that maybe has less fires.
Yeah, they have to relocate. I mean, all animals do, right? If this is a
Yep.
flesh and blood creature, they've got to relocate after a fire. It's just the way it is. And it'd probably take them many, many years to get back into the same areas again. But I think it would be more accurate to give sections like the Pacific Northwest, which would encompass, Washington and Oregon and
Yes.
that whole side. You can do it by the Southwest, do it by, your South or your Eastern states, or it would be more accurate to do sightings that way than by state because you
Now,
just it's a little bit
here
hard.
are the states that has the fewest sightings, according to this. Hawaii, which makes sense. It's a freaking island. I was surprised he Connecticut because I haven't been to Connecticut, but they got a lot of forest land, don't they?
Yeah. As far as I know, they do.
I'm,
It
I'm
and again, we just don't know if they're reporting it. There may be people who
exactly,
see them all the time, but they just won't report it.
exactly. The only one on here I can see is like Nevada, what makes sense. It's desert. Delaware, it's a smaller, actually, it's actually a smaller populated state, so that would make sense. You're
Right.
going to have less populated. I think that's the home of Sleepy Joe. So they're all asleep over there. North Dakota. But with thousands of credible sightings across the US alone, it would stand to reason that there should be conclusive video evidence or remains or DNA or even whole specimens. Of course, that's the always ultimate question. Where are the pictures? Where are the clear videos? We got the 4K cameras, we got drones, we got all this stuff. I mean that, and a lot of people hate those questions, but I guess and it is a fair question. I mean, why can't we get a good clear picture or video footage? Are they?
Right.
You know, there's speculation stories that they got some, I don't want to say paranormal gifts, but they cause a blurry or they blend in with the woods, which we don't know. They could. I mean, we don't necessarily know. And DNA, of course, that's the new porn word. We need DNA, but DNA is the porn word. It's like everybody talks about DNA, but for DNA to actually work, you need DNA from like over hundreds of specimens to be able to try to map it out. It's like
Right.
it's like uh, all those companies, the 321s or whatever, the one I think Facebook owns one that a lot of people claims they have Native Americans, and every time they do these little charts, their DNA, they don't see Native American in there. It's because the percentage of Native Americans do not volunteer their samples for a DNA map. So you have no way to map yourself if you do have Native American in you, because they don't usually do those 321s and all that. So unless Bigfoot's all volunteer, you're never going to have a straight answer, even if you got a DNA, because you need more than one to map it out. Or otherwise, all
Yeah.
they're going to say is, we don't know what this one is.
Gotta have, for me, you gotta have a type specimen to compare anything to. A lot of people will argue that, that DNA is DNA and it'll either show it or not show it. But I just think there's just a lot of contamination out there and improper gathering of evidence. So
And we
without
talked
that
about that
part,
before. Even if
yeah,
you think, even if you think you got a piece of hair that could be from a Bigfoot, who's the right groups to even send that to get tested, right? Would
right.
or we I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but what if you send it to a group and they find something in there that they don't recognize? Do Are their protocol is to call somebody higher up before they tell you? You know what I mean? I mean, you don't know.
Many places don't. The minute they hear Bigfoot, then they won't take it. So you have this, okay, it always falls like this. If you're an investigator or a researcher and you are collecting evidence, okay, before you even consider collecting evidence, who are you going to send it to? You need to already have in place somebody who's going to accept that possible evidence. Okay, don't just collect it and throw it in your freezer and think that that DNA is going to be viable in 6 or 7 months after it's been frozen, unfrozen. You keep taking it in and out. You destroy the DNA. You destroy your possibilities of getting anything accurate. Okay. Did you, number one, collect it properly? Masks, gloves, tweezers, envelopes. Did you put it in a solution, holding solution, or you just have it dry in an envelope for years? All that stuff makes a difference, and people
Yes.
don't do that.
Why
So,
you think on these murder investigations they put gloves on all that, because you have oils on your fingers. You got so much
right.
stuff that could leave contaminations. You gotta, like you said, untouch it, and like you said, you just can't put it in an envelope and leave it there, because day by
And that's the
day.
proper way, is an envelope, not plastic because of the moisture, right? But you have to have, if you're totally serious about collecting evidence and having it, you need to know that it's going to cost you anywhere from a couple of $100 just to identify it. Okay, microscopic identification to $2,000 to $3,000 to have a genome or DNA done on it. So
Yeah.
if you're not prepared to spend that kind of money, then why even collect? That's my, why even collect? Because you need to get that specimen to somebody immediately, if
Yep.
possible. So have your everything in a row. Make those phone calls to those places that are accepting. Right now, Darby Orcutt, he's running a whole thing with Bigfoot DNA stuff. He is accepting samples right now. All you have to do is go onto his website, fill out the paperwork, and send him the samples. And I don't know why. If I'm hopefully people are doing that right now, because that's not going to be forever
Uh,
that
D-
happens.
I do want to mention because Danny wrote, "Come on, they get DNA off 50-year-old evidence and people in prison." And Danny, you're right. But the difference is those kind of DNA tests to go that far back are way more expensive than the average person that could pay 2-3 thousand. You're talking about equipment they use that's 10 to 20, 30,000 that to distract certain kind of DNA from something. So
And
and then
you're
if
looking
you
at markers different because it's a known species. You're looking at a human being, and we already have, we can
uh,
get a sample to compare exact. You're looking
no
for something that we don't have this other side,
yeah, we don't have things to compare with. Now Eddie wrote the DNA study is done. All news. Well, okay, DNA study is done, but okay, by who? I mean,
If you're
who's
referring to Ketchum, number one, not even her peers would review her work because she did not complete the study properly. Number two, she was already brought up on charges for what was it called? Professional. Oh God,
uh,
now it escapes me. But not even the courts will support her. She lost her credibility. She barely got it back right now for this second round of looking for mermaid DNA, and Bigfoot and Dogman and whatever else she's looking for, mermaids and stuff.
Danny is correct.
So
They
she's
are making
completely lost
advancement.
her credibility. And
I
and if you go and look at other people who have checked out her DNA work, they will say the same thing. She was going in the right direction, but she failed to complete, what she had there. In my
uh,
opinion, in my
Danny
opinion,
paid two
she
thousand
failed to
three
do
hundred
that.
bucks back. Danny said he paid $2,300 to be told it's a dog hair.
Oh my God! See, that's a lot.
But he's
That's a
right.
lot.
They are making
Nobody can
advancement, and
afford
things
that.
will get cheaper, and things will get better and better and cheaper to the point where things are.
Hmm.
And then what what do they clean the mermaid? What these mermaids?
What do they clean these mermaids? Huh?
Huh?
So reword that a little bit.
I'm on. What's this? I'm an honest drunk who stands by her experience.
Yeah, and then you've got, knowers, the people who don't need any of this because they've freaking seen one right in front of them, you know? So you
That's
don't
true.
need
That's
to go
that.
through any of all this stuff. If you're a knower, you're a knower, and nobody can tell you any different. I can't tell you you didn't see something.
And,
I 100% believe they're real. I've never seen one, but I'm an evidence skeptic. I'm
and
not like, a lot of other people. I just don't think people are giving us the evidence that can prove it for the rest of the world. We have our little community here, right? And we would believe and pick and choose who we believe and not believe. It's
true.
everybody, has their own way of doing it. Um,
And you said
but
something. in there. That is so 100% true. Nothing is 100% unless it happens to you, unless you see something. And then, like I said, like when we had our encounter, I don't need to prove it. I don't care if other people believe it or not, because there's 11 of us. There's 11 enough of us that talks about it and knows what we saw. You know, of course, that was 1984. And, you know, nobody has DNA or cameras, anything but that. But to me, it doesn't matter. But if you're a person, now our show, we talk about everything. You and I mean, not necessarily we're here to trying to convince people to believe in something if they don't want to. But if you are a channel that are there to convince you at 100%, then I feel, yeah, you might, you're going to need something to prove the points. You know, now I like to have fun, people. One thing about Nikki has, I know you haven't seen every videos out there. You've seen some videos where you know that
not all
I
of
know
them,
where that
but a
comes
lot.
from. I know where that comes from. So I always like to play these shorts and get Nikki's opinion, because those are like the funnest things. Now this first one, they call it Dogman Encounter. Is it real or is it just another AI? Because AI is out there and they're doing things with AI that it's sad. But so some of these videos, people might be so silly, but you know what? They're fun. And this is why we're here to have some fun. So this is Dogman Encounter.
Oh my God. Oh, and that's not even a good AI. Come on, Eric.
but I'm looking at it, right? Look at those legs, and look how choppy it is. That's a bad AI, because you look at the leg, how it's connected. You can tell that somebody added a longer type of leg onto the body.
Yeah. The face is all morphing and but
I like it. They're always fun. And then strange print.
Hi guys, Ben here again, just out on the North Yorkshire moors. This is
okay. First of all, give you guys a little background. This guy is from a channel called 401 Files. He's from the UK. He does UFO, Bigfoot investigation. He's out there. Now there's a foot dent he gets. I want Nikki to look at him and see if I can find
video because I'm out filming a thing, which is
I'm gonna get they're closer.
This thing, which is
there we go.
Is he in the UK?
Something that people do walking barefoot.
Yes,
through the
he's
woods,
in Paranormal, UK.
Look at the debris. Look at how dense this part of the woods is. So yeah, this is what I found, and I thought it was really interesting. And now I have been kneeling on the floor by the side of this thing, which is my knee print there. But this caught my eye massively. I've put my little hatchet at the side. This isn't a full-size axe or anything like that. This is just my small hatchet, just to give you guys an idea of size. But at first I thought, shit, that's a proper print. Like, that is a real print if I've ever seen one. Mainly because I thought that these look like toe prints. Big toe, second toe, third toe. There's no sign of a fourth toe, but there's definitely some kind of a shape here. And in all honesty, sat here in person right now looking at this with my naked eye looks far more impressive than it does through the back of this phone, because what I'm seeing here with my naked eye is how pressed down this is, and I don't know if I can get that on the camera, like how deep this is actually being squashed to the floor. It's not showing it up as well as what I can see it. But then I looked closely and I thought, well, what's all this stuff? It's overturned moss. When I found it, this was like this.
I like the guy. I like his channel. One of the things I did like he did is he put his axe down just to kind of give you the size of this foot. But the only thing is when I watched the whole thing, there was no other print that's even half the size of the dent, because I would think if something dented that much, there's got to be a couple more. Wouldn't you think? I mean, I know footprints are awesome, but if something dented, because I know that's soft ground, you know, it's that the UK rains a lot, so they have softer ground. But shouldn't there be more footprints, even as though it's not fully dented, but partial dented.
Yeah, there should be, especially in that kind of substrate, you would have a definite trackway. But that's where the whole paranormal and the woo side come in, that they can just disappear into a tree or into a portal or go away. It
Let's
just
see what he
depends on
says
how you
here,
look at
because
this
he points
investigation.
out there. Let me see what he says.
Excited me a little bit. And then I saw that there was rabbit droppings all on this embankment.
Some droppings. I mean, that's not.
And then I started to go down another rabbit hole, excuse the pun, thinking, okay, well, if this is a print and it's obviously pushed off in that direction, which is why we have the turned over moss, and there's rabbit droppings, has this thing been heading in that direction looking for a meal? Now, guys, again, I could be speculating too much here. I could be clutching at straws. This could be nothing. It could be just...
I like that he said this could be nothing, and he was just showing it.
Right,
But
right.
those would be the first questions I would ask. If this thing is just hunting, where are the other prints with that soft of a ground? How come there's only one? But another thing that I'm thinking, well, if something had to pressure on it, I don't see a rock around there. I don't see something that might have hit
Right.
it and like roll off. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
Right. Remember, the last thing that you should say is that that's a Bigfoot. You have to eliminate the things you know that are happening right then and there. He just said there was rabbit droppings, so the odds are he's just seeing a rabbit that jumped up there and is skedaddling away. You
yeah.
have to have, something more.
Yeah, and like I said, I just kind of appreciate him putting an axe, putting something next to it to give you the visual on how
No, I
big
like
it's
the way he
something.
presented it, though. He said all of that. He doesn't know what it is, but look, it's interesting. And that, I'm not saying don't collect this evidence, don't take pictures, hold it into your file of stuff you believe to be suspect, because eventually, if Bigfoot is real and it comes out to light, then all this stuff is going to be,
Yeah,
it's going to be important.
and
So,
by having a file, if he goes back out there on another day, he might see a similar print like that. Like, oh, I found this the other day. Then he has something to
right,
start comparing with the size. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
right,
this could be something, and that's very smart to do.
exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, in his channel is called 41 Files, guys. I'll just put his link in the chat. Like I said, he researches not just Bigfoot. He researches everything. I'm talking about UFOs, everything. He's one of those multiple guys. So let's see here. The melon heads. Huh. What's this one? The melon heads. I don't remember this one. I got so much in my archives, and sometimes it's like, oh, what is this one? Three. Well, usually the number three, always. I wonder why. Hold on, let me move this out. That's strange. That's strange. How about this one? This Bigfoot falls down it. Oh my God, no. I'm sorry. This is guys.
Is that the
I'm not
big
gonna.
white one
This
that
one,
falls?
Bigfoot falls downhill, dude. This is the biggest. There's a reason why I'm showing this. This is the biggest AI thing, but there's a reason why I'm showing this. Give me a second. You guys got to see this.
Yeah, I knew it was that one.
The reason I'm showing this is I go into the comments and somebody wrote in the comments, "Is that kid all right?" And
Oh my
I'm sitting there like,
God.
"You don't think that's real, do you?" It's so crazy that some people.
I know, right?
I mean, guys, look at it again. Look how fake this is. Look how fake.
Yeah. I say
And so,
that every week. Every week I see people making comments about thinking that this stuff is real. I'm like, do you live in a cave or do you not get out into real life to know the difference?
I mean,
Because
listen, people could believe whatever they want, but it's just like when like I don't know what radio show I was listening to, and there's lady calls the radio station because there was a deer crossing sign. She goes, "Why would they put a deer crossing sign so all the deers will cross on my street?" And you're like, you sit there like, they're just warning you that they can. They're not telling all the deer to cross.
And she still didn't get it through that whole thing. She didn't understand. But why would they allow them to cross here? They can cross over there. It's like, oh my God, lady. You're not gonna tell
it does. It just hey, there's people like that. They're there. What is this one here? La Sala Sasquatch after fall. What?
Mountain Sasquatch. A guy named Chris sent us a couple of recent photos taken around May 1st in Colorado. It appears they were photographing this cool waterfall and captured a dark Bigfoot shape on the cliffs above the waterfall. This is what Chris writes. My friend took this out by La Salle yesterday. She didn't even notice it in the picture until I pointed it out. She went back through her pictures and has more of the waterfall, and it's not in them. Friends are saying it's a rock, but I can't tell. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see. I respond at RMSO. Hi, Chris. Do you have a photo that shows it's no longer there that you can send to us too? Thanks for showing. Chris continues. The last one I sent, but it's from a different position. RMSO responds. What intrigues me the most is that the large, dark, Bigfoot-shaped subject is nowhere to be seen in the follow-up photo, even though it's at a different angle. A boulder that large should still be visible, and boulders don't move very often, and if it did move and tumble down that slope and cliff face, your friend would have been very aware of the sound it would have made crashing down and off the cliff. Apparently, whatever was there, and then moved to cover, did it very quietly. I don't know, maybe it was a dark Bigfoot-shaped boulder with the ability to move silently and hide from people hiking below the waterfalls. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Nikki, how do you feel when people take pictures that could be a shade?
It's all about having other photos, having that before and after photos. Because without that, we as people just looking at this stuff, we don't know. We weren't there, right? Okay, I see what they're looking at, but where are the pictures before and where were the pictures after? Or did you go back a month later? Did you go back a year later at a different time of year? There's all kinds of things that you can, look at. But we weren't there. So it's up to the person who's taking the picture to prove what they think it is. And you can only do that by having more photos or videos of that same area. I'm sure a Bigfoot wouldn't be standing there for 24 hours straight in the same position, right?
No.
You have the photo for the next day at the same place, then you have something to go on. You can say, yeah, that it's gone, But if you go back and all of a sudden it's not wintertime and all the foliage on the trees are there and everything changes, the looks change. And so it's just about having more than one photo, which is why some of the bigger researchers, okay, like maybe Todd Standing, he's got his faces out there that people believe, right? He doesn't have any photos or video before or after those. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, in my opinion, they're just Muppet heads. All you see is the heads, so I think they're just heads. But where's the beginning and the end and the time he's coming up and setting up, and where is all that? He has never and ever shown that to anybody, not even in the paid side of things.
Yep. I do like what Flat Rock wrote here. When more DNA studies are finalized, including Doug hijack samples, we will have more to look at to see if Maba's tests were right on or a failed study. But I like when he said that more DNA studies are finalized. Right. You need more to be able to cross-reference the ins and outs.
She was on the right track. She had the right intentions. Okay? I'm not saying she's not. She didn't. She definitely had the right intentions. But somewhere along the line, she rushed and she didn't put everything the way it was supposed to be.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the UFO community, you look at the lead singer Blink 182, Tom DeLonge. The man loves UFOs. His whole life, he has videos of UFOs. But he got with the group to convince him to be CEO of a company with a contract with the government, where that wasn't him. Right. He got too much over his head, where his love of UFOs is real. It's just when you take somebody, you put them in a position where they have to be in charge or this, they just don't. They lost millions of dollars in his star company. She probably got put in a position too much to handle, and then that's where things starts to fall apart. And like you said, it doesn't mean she can't put her pants back on, tighten it up, and restart over and do it right.
She's already starting to raise money for that stuff. So
yeah, a lot of people will learn from their mistakes, and that's the main thing is learning from your own mistakes. Because if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're just going to repeat the same thing over, and then eventually you're going to lose so much credibility. Nobody's ever going to follow you. But nothing is ever too late. Just we all been there. Now there's a wanted to ask you about this guy. I see mixed people on this person. Let me pull it up, and then you'll recognize it right off the bat when I show it. I want to get your opinion on this person.
Oh, Paul Freeman. Yeah, he's big news right now. The Freeman footage is one of the biggest footage next to the Patterson-Gimlin footage. And
but what's
conflict? There's
there you go.
Conflict.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring it up, because I notice every time I read comments on Paul Freeman, there's people who back him up 100%, and there's people who do not back him up 100%. Right. And I was curious, like where you lying on?
I 100% believed in this footage for a very long time. It wasn't until I started paying attention to what Thomas Steenberg was saying about it, and who knew him, knew Paul, and seems to think that Paul had this Ivan Marks syndrome, okay, where he had some sightings and then he ended up possibly faking some stuff, okay. I don't know if that's true or not. His son, Paul's son, Michael, out right now with a book about everything that had happened. He seems pretty legit in the way he describes how his dad came about things and how this footage came about. And there's even more footage that you can find prior to this. But it just depends, I wasn't there. A lot of people aren't there. So you either believe it or not. Is that his son in a suit? I don't know. He says no, but
and it is hard because I never followed Paul Freeman in the 90s. I learned about him later, so I don't have a feeling like, is this kind of a guy I could trust or not? That's why you rely on other people's opinions. You listen to it. Flat Rock says, I believe this is true footage of the critter, which is, but like you said, I'm sure Flat Rock would say the same thing. He might believe Dr. that it's real, but not at 100%.
He went up there and looked at the footprints. There's been a professional tracker that went up there to look at the footprints. And they, some say, no, that is not real. And, who do you believe? And it all comes down to your own opinion. If you want to believe it, you want to believe it. We're no further down that field than when we started, right?
Yep.
We're not. So you can just, I'm 50-50. I don't even believe in the Patterson-Gimlin 100%.
Most people who fake stuff don't keep it in a box for years. Just saying, I can see that point of view. I mean, I can see that people fake stuff. Usually people fake stuff. They want to get out there right now. They don't usually hold on to something 2-3 years. So I can see that point of view. But nobody surprises me nowadays. Nothing surprises me. I mean,
right. Yeah.
the
So
person you
I'm
believe.
still on the fence. It's okay to be on the fence. I don't have to believe it or not believe it to enjoy the subject or to look more into it or to get more facts. And there are facts about that. You can go and, I mean, Squatch DTVs, Steve Culls, and a bunch of other people have had Michael Freeman on and have gotten his side of the story. And it's great, but it doesn't prove one way or the other because, I'm the skeptic about things. But it looked good to me for many years. I wanted to believe in it. I just think over time I have allowed myself to see more red flags, and I don't think there should be that many red flags on stuff. So
I know. I'm gonna get this up in a second. No, I know. It seems like every day you're learning about somebody who's just been doing things for money or lot. I mean, it's so many growing up, so many names. I mean, listen, I believe that something happened to Travis Walton. We're not having a Travis Walton discussion, but if tomorrow, if Travis Walton came on TV and said he lied about the whole thing, I want to be shocked. I want to be surprised. I'd be like, okay, another one bites the dust. It's just nothing surprises me anymore. It's just
right.
I mean, it's just, we live in a world where almost anybody can become president nowadays. I mean, nothing surprises me. Now, this one is a person's claiming it's Bigfoot. So let's see. They're talking about the black shadow that's between the tree in the middle. I just don't think there's enough there to even. I mean, I see this black thing, but that could be anything.
Right. Well, I do have the information on this, so.
Great.
I'm trying to see if I can find.
And the only thing was interesting, just this part getting up. He does get up right there.
Let me just see when I covered this. This would have been the Josh Highcliffe.
Danny, I believe everything till Nikki and Joe busted my bubble. Now I have questioned everything. Thanks a lot, Nikki.
Oops. Let me see. We've got Bear, Smelly Freeman footage, Missouri. Here we go. It's gonna be.
She's got a book she made. It's so awesome.
Episode 79, top 10 convincing. Let me pull that up for you.
Hey, Danny, when I was growing up, when I saw the movie Amityville Horror, I thought that stuff was true. Then you find out there might be a little ghost in there, but not like what the movie made it out to be. You learn the hard way. You learn because you're a kid, you want to believe everything is 100% real. Oh, you even got a picture here.
There we go. Okay, this is considered the Mississippi Bigfoot photo. Okay. And resident Josh Highcliffe captured video of this potential Bigfoot while hunting on his property in 2013. He posted the footage on YouTube. And, let me tell you a little bit about Josh Highcliffe. His real name is Richard Lewis Bosworth. And he was actually filming promo shots for Beasts of the Bayou. So what you're seeing there is it was a complete just makeup to have this show right here for Beasts of the Bayou. It was just meant, to have more video, B film, B footage. But yeah, he was found out. So that's who that is. It was called that right there, Beast of the Bayou. That's what you're seeing. That's what that's originally from.
None of that surprises me. You're filming something and like, hey, I'm gonna clip this little 10-second thing and let it go viral.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
That's what that is. I think that's it. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, at the end of the day, he made his money off of it, even though people catches it. It's like, oh, I made money. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's already, you can't take the money back.
Right.
It is this one. I got one that says Bigfoot disappearing. Okay, let's see. The Bigfoot disappearing. Bigfoot falls. Oh, here it is. Bigfoot disappearing.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Okay, yeah, I see that black shadow. So this tree, and then it disappears. So
Your guess is as good as mine. I've had that on my show as well, but I don't think I had very much on the background of that, because it initially came out just as a photo, and then we found the video. So that's all I was putting out there, was that, it could be anything. There's no before or after, or anybody screaming or yelling or getting scared, or it's just the video.
and I question, not question the camera. I don't know what year this video was taken. You would think it'd be a little bit brighter. I don't know, more form, more coloring there. Like it's almost like, I'm not saying they staged it, but
Right. It's not that
they
old.
staged it, and they took the film and they changed the coloring down to blend it more flat.
Right.
So you can't tell if there's a cover up there or not.
Right.
It says, hey, for 1.4 million views, I'll put up anything. No shame, I have.
A lot of people will, I mean, now that AI has gotten so crazy, it's just, people are looking for that. They're looking for that.
It really is.
They're looking for a quick boost in their numbers,
Yeah, that's I mean, that's the whole, debate. And then the sad thing is, now you got the government want to put regulations, and then the question is, are we going to have them control everything still? Like, are they, you know what I mean? Like, do we want the government to control all of it with us and all that? But I don't know. What is this one? Nightmare Unleashed. Now, this is more of a paranormal one, guys. This is a nightmare family in a bed. This is fun.
Next scary video. A family is sleeping in their bedroom. Around 2:00 in the morning, strange things start happening. This video will make you want to start recording yourself sleeping. Watch this.
Something's supposed to be right there in the shadow.
Oh, the door.
The door's moving, yep. But of course, that's an easy string, easy push, because you can't see behind the wall.
Huh.
You know, Paranormal
Wow,
stuff is always
creepy.
fun because
I believe in paranormal. I've had my own paranormal experiences, so I know, to me, that's real because of my own experiences, but I never have hooked the paranormal to Bigfoot. I've always kept them pretty much separate. But yeah, there's
yeah,
creepy stuff out there.
I mean, I know you're right. I mean, I know when people say there is a connection, it's a hard discussion because I always say if you're going out in the woods and you're on a Bigfoot investigation, you know, if you hear or see something, it might not be a Bigfoot. It might be just a paranormal ghost, but it doesn't
Right,
mean there's a
right.
connection between that the ghost is there because of Bigfoot. You know,
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
believe if people do believe Bigfoot exists and when they die, I'm sure there could be an energy ghost. Some people believe their animals are
Hmm.
back as ghosts. So there's no
Yeah, my
reason.
cat came back as a spirit, a little black well, what do you call it? A little shadow cat. I had a little shadow cat for a little while
Yeah.
here in
So
my
it doesn't
house.
automatically mean there's a connection. Now I've heard stories of this you probably know the sea squatchers. You
Hmm.
know, they've been on my channel a long time before
Oh,
and
oh, I
they
think I
always
was
talk.
wearing her shirt yesterday, matter of fact.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
they're great. They're great. I met them actually at the Yakima Bigfoot conference last
Hmm.
year. It was fun, and they didn't recognize me at first because I wasn't wearing
Oh,
my hat. You know,
uh-huh.
you know where
Yeah.
oh you're him.
Yeah.
but you know they were telling me a lot of stories on a lot of their investigations that they see, you know, they've seen orbs, but but that doesn't exactly mean there's an automatic connection because out of all the sightings you hear stories there's only maybe 1-2% of maybe somebody saw an orb. It doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean it's related to that Bigfoot because I'm sure if you're researching on an investigation, there's a group of you might be a bounce light from something when you have that
Hmm.
many people out on investigation. You know, you got because she's telling me there were like 6 or 7 of them. So, like you say, there could be a contamination light with that many people unless you're by yourself
There could
and you
be,
see
but
like 3 lights.
I do believe that there's something else out there. Okay. I do believe in that paranormal, spiritual, orbs, whatever. I do believe in all that stuff, you know, but the connection, I just don't see. I don't see the connection yet of the two. And
Yeah, and
maybe
Mike,
they're both happening at the same time. That
that's
okay?
it.
You see what
That's the thing.
but
That's exactly it. There
yeah,
could be, but we can't claim that every single one is because of a connection. It
right,
could be individual things.
right.
You know, that's why when we go on a Bigfoot investigation, we always bring our little not toys, but our paranormal toys because you never know
Right.
because
And
paranormal is the one thing that could be
like what
anywhere,
Mike
right?
said, Long Island Bigfoot, when you're in tune, you don't have to wonder. And that's completely true because I'm going to tell you something. Um my sister is completely open. She's a clairaudient. And but I can't get to that level because I'm blocked. I've been told by many people, psychics, empaths, that I can be empathic, but I won't allow myself to because I've blocked my third eye for, okay, I've been told this by people from way different circles. And because I'm more of a evolutionist, and I have to really know why things happen. And that has completely blocked me from seeing other paths. Okay. That's okay. I don't, it doesn't bother me that I'm like that I need to see the evidence, the means to the end. I have to have that. I can't just believe in, Bigfoot's walking into portals because I need to know why and how. How did that happen? How does that work out? And I know that there's that quantum thing out there. I realize that, but I just can't do that connection. And I probably will never make that connection because I am not a field researcher. I am not boots on the ground. I will never be boots on the ground. I love the woods and I love to go camping and be out there, but I'm not a researcher like that. I research other people pretty much, and but that's okay. It's just my opinion. I'm just like everybody else pretty
No,
much.
that's a real opinion, but most
Yeah.
sightings are from people that aren't investigators that catches
Right.
these sightings
They're
and all
just
that.
out there, right?
Yeah, all because you call yourself an investigator. To me, doesn't give you extra. I respect somebody who goes out there and spends extra time, like Mike does.
Oh, heck yeah.
He goes out
Hey,
there. I
you got a lot of
respect
people
that, but
who
it
do
doesn't
that.
guarantee that if you go camping and you go out in the woods, I don't know, go bathroom or something, or do a little walk, you might actually
have an experience.
Yeah. When you weren't expecting it. So
Exactly.
most experiences are from people that were not hunting for a Bigfoot or paranormal. And the reason, and I love Nikki. There's another person named Nicole. She's from the Vault of Paranormal channel, where they went out on a paranormal investigation. They went to a graveyard, and she's a known medium. She actually did some jobs for the police force, and she proved it that they called her. So, mediums that's another story if you believe mediums or not. But she's proven that she did work for on a few cases. That when they went out on a paranormal investigation, and the graveyard was like near like mountains, and they had a Bigfoot encounter. You know what I mean? So you never know. You never know. But you said something interesting too about being blocked, because sometimes I wonder myself, like I've heard voices, like you probably have. You've seen some things move, but never had the ability to feel something near me wants to talk to me. And I wonder how some people can talk. Can we be blocked?
I do. I totally 100% believe in that, because there are moments when I'm with my sister that I'm super empathic, but the minute we separate, I'm back to not seeing anything or feeling anything. So, and that is my experience. Remember, just like Mike said, my path. That's my path. This is my path. She's tried to trust me. My sister has tried to change me. She cannot.
I know.
It's
I
not
agree.
happening.
But it does drive me crazy, because I'll be walking somebody. Did you feel that? No.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
Yeah.
You feel that extra cold? No, I don't.
Yeah. I have a connection with animals. I have weird things that have happened to me. I've had the ability to cleanse. I'm still learning this stuff too,
We are.
My experiences. But I've cleansed my own house and gotten rid of things in my new house here, because I believe that during the building of my house and the house behind us, that we disturbed something. I'm 100%. I think we disturbed something.
I always hate when somebody tells me, Eric, you just got to open up. I am open.
Right?
What am I doing wrong that I'm not open?
Right.
The one guy who wants everything that happened to you, ask things that happen. It's not like I don't want to be open. We asked for it.
Right. I love the she squatchers, the gens. I call them the gens, Jenna. I love them. I have spent time with them, but they research different. Okay. They do a lot of mental work. They do a lot of projection. What do you call it when they're trying to
they started in the paranormal world.
Yeah, they started that way. That doesn't make them bad people. I'm far from saying that.
I think it makes them better. They're more open.
We don't hang, because I respect the work they're doing and the spiritual side and the whole indigenous side that they bring to the field. That's just not my path. That's okay. They're my friends. They're great gals. I sat and had long conversations with them. So it's just the way it is. Everybody's got their way, but I won't my focus with my channel, of course, is just showing people that if there's red flags, not to believe everything out there that just comes up. You do a little freaking image search, for goodness sakes, on some stuff,
and ask around.
you know? and just be a little more involved. Don't just assume, oh my God, that's like the whole Colorado Bigfoot. Do you know who Mark Abell is?
Yep.
He put out a photo recently of a Bigfoot, and it was clearly the Jack Link's Bigfoot. Okay, in the background, it was clearly, they found the photo and everything. Those are the type of things. Don't believe in that stuff.
And there are people that saying they got the Bigfoot scream or yelling, and they just took it off somebody else's.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those.
They take it and they kind of high pitch it a little bit, but when they did these testing on the wavelength of it, is exactly the same. They just high pitched it or lower pitched it. I mean, it's going to happen all the time. It's
started major wars in the community.
Oh my God, I remember some of those wars. I remember some of those wars.
I've been involved in some of that stuff, and it's not pretty. Threats were made. I mean, dang, I thought I was going to have to go file a police report to get these guys to stop harassing me. But what do you do?
I know. It's you can't win. Nobody wants to.
When you
nobody wants their stuff to
hoax all you want to hoax. I don't give a shit. I'm going to do.
I believe a real person, a real channel wants people to share stuff, but there are certain things that they don't want their stuff. They don't mind you touching it if you agree 100% on their end. But as soon as you kind of go off a little bit, then there's then it changes.
Right.
Danny sends me a lot of stuff. Danny sends me a lot of stuff. I showed it, and a lot of people think, oh, it's just this. It's a reflection of light. And Danny's like, that's fine. That's cool. I just want to know what it is too.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people, not
Danny,
like Danny,
that's the one I'm referring
to.
That is the one I'm referring to, Danny. There was so much more involved in that than a lot of people know behind the scenes with certain Dogman channel. I shall not name, but it's ugly. It's ugly out there because some people, this is their money. This is their paycheck, So when you mess with that, they get very defensive. So.
Oh yeah. I went through that kind of a thing you're talking about on the Mandela effect side of a community, where I'm like, no. They're like, what do you mean no? That is real, dude. It's not. and it's like and people cannot stand the fact that you're questioning their work, and it's like,
right.
I'm not questioning. I'm giving you my honest opinion. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, so everybody's entitled to that. It's okay,
I say you put your stuff out there, then you have to be willing to accept the good and the bad that comes along with it. Right. If you're going to be on social media, you have to accept the good and the bad. There is some people that go too far. We get that, but you have to accept the good and bad.
You do, and you gotta be, like you said, accepting of those other opinions, just like the whole Ketchum thing. I don't believe her. I don't believe the things she puts out, and I don't think she had proper stuff. But that's my opinion based off of what I've researched. If you've done your research and you found it legitimate, then that's your truth, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not hurt. It doesn't take anything off of me.
I remember Nikki last week. It was so funny last week. I did a show. I had two people on it from Cosmic Road and Cosmic Neighbors, and the one guy says he believes that everything that Jeremy Corbell has put out, and me and I kept my mouth in, and my friend Cosmic Neighbors, same way. He was there. He was like, we're like, oh, so you think everything that Jeremy Corbell is truthful? Like, and Ron's like, okay, each to their own,
Right.
But both of us like, really? Okay.
Yeah. it just, everybody's gonna have their own opinion, and yeah, that's okay. This is the internet. It's huge, okay? There's different opinions on everything, and we're all entitled to have our own. That's why I made my own show, so I could give my own opinion. You know, that's
right,
why I
because
have my own show.
before you had your own show, I saw you all the time on Mogs.
Oh yeah, I used to go on Mogs before. I was been doing shows for a long time on other people's channels because I
Yes,
didn't
on
want
other
to
people's
bother.
channels.
Yeah, bother doing this mess because it's a lot of freaking work to put shows on, you know, and a lot of people don't realize all the research it takes and prep and time and for like nothing. Okay, I don't make a thing. I'm not monetized. I'm a small little channel, but I created it so that I could just give my opinion because I noticed a lot of people had my opinion. So I knew I would have some followers, and it just kind of went from there. And my show's taken a drastic change from when I first started to now. But it's just fun. I just try to have fun and point things out and let people say what they want to say. That's all.
It's not that the show changes. You know, you want to do different things, try different things, because it gets
Right.
boring if you talk the exact same format. Like yesterday, we talked mostly UFOs. Today, we're talking Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a show tomorrow, but when I do a show on Thursday, we're going to be talking all paranormal. It makes it funner that I'm not going into the same subject every single
Right.
time.
Exactly.
It's like a little
Yeah.
break, you know.
Well, that's what my little morning show's about, is to talk about the stuff that's not Bigfoot.
And when is your next show? So you can tell people, they all know who you are, but if they don't,
Yeah.
when's your next show?
Well, Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, is Hijinks in the morning with Enzo Sorrell, which a lot of the paranormal people know who Enzo is because he's all over as well. But we have a good time. We talk an hour or so about whatever's in the news or whatever we want to talk about.
Enzo's great. I
He's
always
a great
wonder
guy.
what does Enzo is like when he's really pissed off at the whole world. He's got that awesome smile. He's
I
just
know.
got that awesome smile that you can just feel it. And I'm like,
I
what
have
he's
to
like when he's
say
pissed
something.
off?
I have seen him pissed off, okay? And it's not pretty. You don't want to see that side of him. It's
You know,
much
usually-
better to know the happy side.
Usually the people that have the
more.
biggest smiles have the biggest anger.
Woo! Yeah, it
And-
was
and Ron,
deserved anger, but it
Ron,
was
you are
anger.
right. Enzo is really an intelligent guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the person I always say he knows something about everything. I'm not saying he knows everything about everything. He knows something about everything. He's got
He does.
a lot of great input.
Great.
Yeah. So, guys, on my show on Thursday, we're going to be talking about equipments that we're going to do a little different on the Paranormal Thursday. We're going to be talking about what are some of the equipments that people take with them, what do they use it, what's it for, why, what are they trying to catch with it. So it's kind of a what should you bring,
show?
you know, and how much some of these things do cost. So if you guys are into
Uh-oh.
up all different gears that people can have, because there's so many gears now. They got this, they got that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it really worth $1,000 versus $100? So
Right.
we're gonna break it down that way. But I want to thank you, Nikki, jumping on, because it's always fun showing you some videos and then like you tell me that you know that this one
What it is.
more this way versus that way. Not saying
Yeah.
you're saying it's all fake, but you lean one way versus the
Yeah.
other.
That's pretty much what I do. And but my normal show, Sasquatch Secrets, Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain.
5 p.m. Mountain. That's only an hour difference where I live. Mountain time's, I think, an hour than Pacific Coast, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It is. I just wish we get rid of all the Pacific Mountains. Just call one time. Well, I don't know where you live. Like right now, it's so weird where we're at right now, Washington. Oh, you're actually gonna be in Washington in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
9:30,
A couple
it's still
weeks.
daylight.
Yikes. Wow, that's really late.
It is. Seriously, like 9:30, 9:40. It's like sometimes my wife and I we will sit there and like, it's nighttime. Really? All that and
Yeah.
that's right, because the Bigfoot camp out is actually at Mount St. Helens, which is only 4 hours. It's only 4 hours away from me, which is awesome. It's awesome.
Yep.
I live closer to Mount
Shindig,
Rainier versus
Mount St. Helen's Shindig is from July 26th through the 30th, right on the side of Mount St. Helens at a location that had several sightings, including the gentleman who's hosting, Jay Birch from Bigfoot Barbecue. He had his sighting right where we're going to be staying at. So it's going to be great.
And not just Bigfoot sightings. There's a lot of UFO sightings with the Mount St. Helens and the Mount Rainier. Some people say there's a connection with volcanoes and UFO. So there's a lot of not saying it's connected with the Bigfoot, but there is. So what I'm saying is, anybody goes up there, bring a camera with you too, a video.
Everything.
And you might want to film the skies.
Yeah, that's also the area of the famous Ape Canyon incident.
Yeah.
So that's right there on the side there. The Ape Caves, the Ape Canyon, all of that.
Yeah, and I'm picking the day for me to go up there. It's like, I know the 28th I got to be down here for my daughter's driving thing, and of course I got to drop them off to the Taylor Swift concert.
That's right.
But I'm like, do I want to go up there on the 26th and all that? But I'm gonna have fun. It's gonna be fun. So beyond that, everybody in the chat, hopefully we see you over on Sasquatch Secrets channel, and hopefully I get to see you guys back on Thursday. Beyond that, have a great day. It's always fun talking to you all. See you
Thanks,
later.
Eric. Bye.